All right. All right. I do believe it is the appointed time and at the appointed hour. We are here at the Mucky Duck in Houston, Texas. My name is Mark Rubin. The name of the show is Jew of Oklahoma. I so much appreciate you coming and seeing me, and those of you who are online, I much appreciate you as well. It's a terrible day. It's a terrible day. I'm going to lose it. Just so we're clear, this is being recorded, so you may not know there was an awful attack that occurred in the nation state of Israel. And those of us who are Jewish in America are having a really hard time processing all of this. And a lot of my music has to deal with the value of a Jewish life. So this really rings really hard for me. So if I lose it tonight, would you go easy on me a little bit? A bisschen Rachmanis, please. Not just for us, for all of us together. So let's start the show with a little joy, okay? A little bit about myself, you know? Well, I didn't get in this to play all by myself. It's almost so better when there's somebody else. Lots of cats I know real well, they can pull it all down themselves. But I'll confide I'm terrified to play all by myself. Singer-songwriters, well, they're uniformly jerks. They're conceited loners with detestable quirks. Oh, how do they annoy me? They all bore me to tears. But a recent cost analysis says alone that I'll be here. Now that I'm among them, I better eat a little crow. You know, we're actually warrior poets, much like troubadours of old. And since the time of Ovid, well, this truth I will tell. People, they like a good story, and they like it told real well. Yoodle-yoodle-yoodle-hoo, yoodle-yoodle-yoodle-hoo, yoodle-yoodle-yoodle-hoo. Well, I'm sitting up here tonight along with my song. Well, my picking is just about all right, but more often wrong. Lots of cats I know real well, they can pull it down off the shelf. But I'll confide I'm terrified to play all by myself. Why's that? 'Cause I didn't get in this to play all by myself. Studies show that your brain chemistry actually changes when there's somebody else. Lots of guys I know real well, they can pull it down off the shelf. But I'll confide I'm terrified to play all by myself. Yoodle-yoodle-yoodle-hoo, yoo-hoo, yoodle-yoodle-yoodle-hoo. That's a fact. That's a fact. Well, we do live in a market. We do live in a market where, unfortunately, one divides real well. Oh my! Let's silence our phones, shall we? Let's all get together as a group and silence our phones. I'll do that too. That's actually from my old buddy Danny Barnes, checking in, asking me if I'm doing a good show. So these are songs of introduction before we get to the meat of the show. This song is called Southern Jews is a Good News. It comes from my second record. Now, there was a comedian by the name of Brother Dave Garner. Anybody here raised up in the South and remember Brother Dave Garner? No. Well, he was one of those original cornpone comedians, one of those blue-collar comics, and he was very popular in the 60s. And he kind of did like a riff on a Southern preacher. And he had a routine called The Great Religions of the World, where he would make fun of the Methodists and the Baptists and the Catholics. And he had a routine, and then in the routine he would go, now, dear hearts, let me tell you about the Jews. And he let that kind of hang in the air for a second. And then he goes, now hold on, dear heart. Southern Jews is good news. It's just them Yankees I'm worried about. Which gave me the idea of this. This is a little bit about my life growing up in Oklahoma. Well, Southern Jews are good news, baby. Well, Southern Jews is a damn good news. Well, Southern Jews are good news, baby. It's just them Yankees I'm worried about. Got them Jews in Oklahoma. Well, that's the average ones. You got them down in Tennessee, down in Mississippi, down in sunny old Alabama. Heck yes, I say, can Max a shine us leave? Is this to you great news? Because New York City seems a mighty exotic to a Southern Jew. Well, we're mostly in the agribusiness, just like Tevye milking cows. You can pick our farms from the rest by the absence of any sow. Our Yankee kins poor manners, well, we often must excuse. No pigs in our poke, no, we ain't no joke. We're the down-home Southern Jew. We take our bacon off a hard cheeseburger, and we greet you with a howdy y'all. Well, we drive to shul on Shabbos in our best dressed overall. We're famous for our barbecue. It's kosher beef, so you can't refuse. Got a trucker cap for my keeper. It's a scramble of the Southern Jew. Yeah, now Southern Jews are good news, baby. Well, Southern Jews is a damn good news. Well, Southern Jews are good news, baby. Well, it's just them dinkies I'm worried about. You know, some folks down here say we pass for white. Well, at least they ain't black. Well, it might be true for some down here, but you always gotta watch your back. Our skin tone gives us much relief, and some days we get to choose. Gotta navigate your privilege when you live as a Southern Jew. Let me tell you about Judah Benjamin. He was the Confederate Secretary of State. And on that particular question down here, friends, we sided up on side of hate. In the war of northern aggression, y'all might think you got a higher score. But if you look down south today, you gotta say y'all sure enough lost that war. Did we kill your Lord? Heck yes we did. Bring him back and we'll kill him again. And the good old boys all belly laugh, cause we're all the best of friends. Now that sort of talk might have shocked you. In fact, it might confuse. But it's source like this all the livelong day when you live as a Southern Jew. Now, Southern Jews are good news, baby. Well, Southern Jews is a damn good news. Well, Southern Jews are good news, baby. Well, it's just them Yankees I'm a worried about. Yeah, I'm playing mostly material from my records. I got 3 of them out already. That's from my record, Songs for the Hangman's Daughter. I'm going to play, before recent events that sucked, there were some recent events that sucked. Before the recent events that sucked, before that, for Jews, So I got real inspired by some events and wrote a couple new songs that I thought were prescient. My material, which is not like really sunshiny, continues to be more and more prescient, which, doesn't make me like any more sunshiny, unfortunately. So this is a little tune that's kind of going to explain itself. I can hear a dog whistle, I hear it loud and clear. I can hear the dog whistle, it means bad times on me. I can hear the dog whistle and I know what it means. I can hear the dog whistle and it's just as it seems. They got the white boy standing proud, saying the quiet parts out loud. But the government man got little more circumspect. He's got to be careful with his words so his true point can be heard. And the whistle always seems to get the good effect. I can hear the dog whistle talking about your George Soros. He talking about the dog whistle, he's a source of all your woes. Hear the dog whistle talking about that coastal elite. I can hear the dog whistle, it's the same old evil tweak. When they talk about the globalists, you can be sure we're on their lists. International bankers too. When that whistle's blowing loud, well, it's for a certain crowd. If you can't hear it, I guess they ain't coming for you. Their hearts filled up with hate, they're gonna go on about the deep state. It's an international Zionist conspiracy. Where they whipping up the baits, they gonna show us their true face. By then, gonna be too late for you and me. I can hear the dog whistle talking about that dog whistle. Dog whistle. Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about the 500-pound terrorist in the room. A lot of my music is inspired by a poet by the name of Mordecai Gebertig. Anybody here familiar with Mordecai Gebertig? Good time to get hip. Mordecai Gebertig was a poet and songwriter who had the great misfortune of operating in Poland in the late 30s, early 40s. Bad time to be Jewish then, huh? Yeah. Also bad time to be socially conscious and to be a rabble-rouser. So he wrote many, many songs that are very known and beloved in the Jewish labor movement and in the Yiddish community. I've sung and played his songs many, many times for many, many years, but they're in the Yiddish language. And strangely enough, American Jews don't really speak Yiddish anymore for some strange reason. So these songs, which are prescient and important, have not made it, are not being picked up by our community, though I think they're really important. Super important. Important because I was trying to make analogies between Gebertig's living under encroaching fascism and anti-Semitism in his life and the encroaching fascism and anti-Semitism that we live within our own lives today. I had no idea that that we would have to contend with what we're contending with now, and that it seems more and more that that the value of our lives is becoming more and more devalued, as it was before. So I will sing you two songs now from Mordecai Gebertig. The first is called A Tug von Nechome. Actually, I'm going to sing you this other one. I got to sing these in order. This one's called Es Brennt. And it was written in 1938, to commemorate a pogrom the destruction of a village. And I have framed it in the style of an American murder ballad because I grew up playing American music and I got a banjo for my bar mitzvah. So, and I've played a lot of murder ballads from the American tradition, but here's a murder ballad from the Jewish tradition. Said it's burning, yes, it's burning. Everywhere it's burning down, but your arms are crossed and you're staring around. It's burning. Said it's burning, yes, it's burning. Listen up, you whole damn fools. Pick up a bucket, you got the tools. It's burning. Say they're going around and taking names, putting every home to the flames. It's burning. And if there was any doubt, there ain't no fireman to put it out. It's burning. Well, the flames have swallowed up our town, but your arms are crossed and you're staring down. It's burning. Well, there ain't no rain, there ain't no flood. We'll quench these flames with our blood. It's burning. Yes, it's burning. Yes, it's burning. Everywhere it's burning down, but your arms are crossed and you're staring down. It's burning. Yes, it's burning. Said it's burning. Listen up, you whole damn fool. Pick up a bucket, you got the tools. It's burning. All right. This next one here was the reason why we have this next one here was it was smuggled out of the ghetto that Gebertig was being kept in before he was brought to the Birkenau death camp. But the thing was, they took him to Krakow first, took him and his family there. Before they put him on, they were pushing people onto the train, but he was uppity, so they just shot him right there. Didn't even make it on the train. But this was a series of poems and songs that he had written that were smuggled out, and that he had written in 1940. And this one here, it's called A Tug for Nakoma. Nakoma is I think is a Hebrew word, which means revenge. A day for revenge. But I think here's where I lose it. What Gebertig says is that there's a Jewish revenge. And as Jews, this is our revenge. So A tug for Nakoma, a day for revenge. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Listen close to what I say. There'll come a time, there'll be a day, and though it seems so far away, I promise that we'll make them pay. We'll have our revenge for the suffering and pain. Revenge for those who still remain. Oh, that day will come along when we right each every wrong. We'll have our revenge for the widows, orphans, it must suffice. For the millions blood since sacrificed, our prophets cry out for us to awake. For retribution, so shall we take. We'll have our revenge for the suffering and pain. Revenge for those who still remain. Oh, that day will come along when we right each every wrong. We'll have our revenge. Die, 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 die. Humankind will turn its back on war. I can see it clear on a distant shore. It comes to us like Noah's dove, a message of kindness, peace, and love. That's our revenge for the suffering and pain. Revenge for those who still remain. Oh, that day will come along when we right each every wrong. We'll have our revenge. Yeah. Okay, I got through that. I'm playing these songs off of my record, The Triumph of Assimilation. Those two songs were off of that record. Believe it or not, for some reason or another, and I don't know how it happened, it debuted at number 14 on the Billboard Bluegrass charts. I think it's the first time ever that a Venu Malkenu has been on the Billboard Bluegrass charts. But we'll get to that. In the meantime, two little more tidbits of Southern life. There we go, D minor. For some people, that's a key. For Jewish musicians, that's a living. So, my family tried really hard to keep kosher when I was a kid living in Oklahoma. It was nigh on impossible. So, here is our travails. Dyed, fried, laid to the side, keeps the southern belly well satisfied. But if you're gonna stay Jewish, well, at best suffice to see bacon as a garnish and ham hock as a spice. Tell me, Mrs. Cohen, why's your chulent so nice? I use bacon as a garnish and ham hock as a spice. If you're gonna stay Jewish, gotta work real hard, 'cause everything here's got a little coat of lard. Make accommodations when you live in the South. Don't ask too many questions about what goes in your mouth. Don't want to stick out, you want to get along. So eat that crawfish and sing my little song. Well, you can't find a bagel worth a tinker's dam. Not in the land of the glazed country ham, and the church picnic may be the only meal. So they ain't pork chops, let's call it Pinkville. Tell me, Mr. Katz, why's your latkes so fine? I use lard instead of schmaltz, and I do it all the time. If you're gonna keep kosher at the end of your fork, it's best to close your eyes and pray it ain't pork. And if you're gonna stay Jewish, well, it best suffice to see bacon as a garnish and ham hock as a bam, 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 do, 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 do. All right. Oh, jeez. You know, the deal is, you know what the truth is? I'll share this. The truth is that the kosher butchers in Chicago didn't send us good meat. We were dependent on out-of-town butchers, and they knew they didn't have to send us good meat. So, shame on them. Shame on, if you guys are watching, shame on you guys. Oh, yeah. Okay, back to the heavy stuff. Might as well. I mean, like I said, it's not a sunshiny show, if you haven't figured that out. Who here is familiar with the story of Leo Frank? Ooh, I heard a dull murmur. Yeah, I work at this place called the Museum of the Southern Jewish Experience, and if you get a chance to come to New Orleans, I strongly recommend you come and visit me there. We have an exhibit on the impossibility of keeping kosher. We also have an exhibit on Leo Frank, and I'm going to tell you, it's a tale that's not known so well by folks, and I've got an angle on it that I'd like to share. This is called The Murder of Leo Frank. Come gather round, people, a story has to tell. I'll sing today of Leo Frank, it's a tale not known so well. Well, you might have heard the ballad, or you might have sung the song about poor little Mary Fagan and how it was that she was wrong. Well, my song is not about the crime or about the so-called trial where Leo Frank the innocent was found guilty and given time. Leo Frank's been gone, but his memory lingers on. Convicted by all press accounts, railroaded by the courts, thousands came from all around for Frank's life to make sport. And out on the courthouse steps, old John Carson could be heard making songs right up on the spot. For the hundreds gathered there, he sang, "Let's hang that little Jew. Come on, let's hang that little Jew. Come on, let's hang that little Jew. Let's hang that little Jew." It was the 17th of August. It was on that fateful day. 6 cars filled up with angry men till the milkman came. Well, they drained the gas tanks of the cops, cut down the telephone wires, and cuffed the friendly warden, and with Frank they bid goodbye. It was out in Marietta, and a spot did they prepare. Well, there's an old oak branch and a length of rope and a rickety old chair. Leo Frank's been gone, but his memory lingers on. And when the killing had been done, all the men they gathered round to get a picture of themselves with Frank's body dangling down. There were prominent politicians, sheriffs, policemen too, the captains of local industry, and the founder of the local scout troop. We're the Knights of Mary Fagan, all the Klansmen cried with glee, burned a cross on Old Stone Mountain for all the world to see. They sang, "Where hung that little Jew?" Well, we hung that little little Jew. We hung that little Jew. Well, they hung that little Jew. Well, the Jews of old Atlanta, well, they thought they'd had it made, but now hundreds fled old Georgia for the safety of a northern state. There'll be no menorah in your window, no more sukkah built outside. Them's that did not leave right out learned to hide it. Well, they hid it deep, deep down inside. Bill Frank's been gone, but his memory lingers on. For little Mary Fagan's song, John Carson can we thank. The next time you're at services, say a Kaddish for Leo Frank. Thank you, thank you. All right, this is a banjo. Have we talked about the banjo yet? The banjo comes from the African word banjar. That should give you a hint by with which where it comes. The banjo is probably one of the most colonized instruments in America. They like to call it America's instrument, but it's definitely an African one. It is one of the many things that we as a country have appropriated. And now see, when Scotch-Irish immigrant folks were living in close proximity to African-American folks, they picked up the banjo and adapted it to play their music on it. Now see, I was raised up in close proximity to the descendants of the Scotch-Irish people who played the banjo. But I am not Scotch-Irish, as it turns out. So those lovely Scotch-Irish tunes just don't resonate with me so much. So I set about to play a lot of the melodies and tunes that resonate with me. So I'm going to play you a little suite of tunes that are from my record, Triumph of Assimilation. This is a suite of dance pieces, in fact. The first is called a jock. Then I'm going to play a couple chassidels and then a freilach. Those are all Yiddish words, which means a slow dance in 3/4, then two tunes in moderato in 2/4, and then a peppy number in 4/4. The first tune is just a folk tune, a tune that I learned from somebody. I don't know where or when, I can't recall. The second tune is a tune I learned from the playing of my dear friend Susan Watts, who learned it from her mother in Philadelphia. It's part of a tune called the Philadelphia Share. And then the second tune I learned from a 78 by a guy named Abe Schwartz. And then the fourth number I'll play for you, the little upbeat number, is called Sidney's Freilach. And I learned it from Sidney Beckerman himself, a beautiful old klezmer clarinet player that I learned up in New York State. So this is my little banjo suite. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. All right. Let's see, a little more. Yay for the banjo? Yay for the banjo. More banjo. I don't usually get a yay for the banjo. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's see now. I'll play a song. Gosh, they're all so damn sad. All of these songs are so sad. Yeah, man, I'm looking at my set list here, and it's like, yeah, it's all so damn sad. Okay, all right. So, I went to go see. I went to go see the when I was in Trenčín, Slovakia. There's this. I was told there was this beautiful synagogue there because Trenčín was a very big commerce town, and the Jews were 1/3 the population there. And I was touring all over Europe as a klezmer musician, and I was really lucky. I got to see a lot of places and go to a lot of places. And they were telling me there was this beautiful synagogue there, the Great Bialy Synagogue, the Great White Synagogue. And so I went to go take a look at it. And when I went there to go take a look at it, I'd been touring Europe and Eastern Europe for almost a decade, and I never had my oh my God Holocaust experience. I'd been in Poland and Germany and all over, but I didn't have that, gotcha. Didn't really punch you in the gut. And it wasn't until I got to Trenčín did it really hit me. But then I thought, how am I going to do this in a song? Then I remembered that I'd met a Holocaust survivor who was also a mandolin player, and he had taught me a song, and it was called Wie ist das Gessele? Where is my street? And it was old Yiddish theater piece about the existential thing about how you can't go home anymore, right? That idea, once you leave your small town and go to the big town, you can't go home anymore. Well, for Jews, it wasn't existential anymore. So he taught me the song. He said he was a Lodz partisan, or he had escaped the Lodz ghetto by going through the sewers. The only thing he took with him was his mandolin. I don't really want to get into the minutia, but he did teach me this little song. Let me tune up so that we do it justice, shall we? Shamefully, I do not remember the fellow's name. I was a young man at the time, and I didn't know who I was in front of. This is also the only time you're ever going to hear me sing Yiddish, ever. Gessele, wie ist du stieb, wie ist dus Mädele, wemmen geblieb. Hart ist dus Gessele, hart ist du stieb, hart ist dus Mädele, wemmen geblieb. And here is the literal English translation. Where are the streets and those alleys I've roamed? Where is that sweet girl, and where went her home? There's no more streets now, no homes you can go. That gal, she don't live there no more. And here's my song about the Great Synagogue. The plaque on the wall says this once was a shul, abandoned and empty, she once was a jewel. But the locals pay no mind, and most did not know She's kept for the tourists, but only just so. And where are the Chassids and their Beit Midrash? The Schneider, the Shotgun, the Mashki Mash, where you won't find the pious, nor Ryan the cask, no tailor, matchmaker, they've all turned to ash. And where are the rabbis and the Aaron Kodesh, the Bima, the Shamas, the Torahs, the rest, where you won't find the rabbis, the Torah's all burnt, for once there were Jews here, and now there aren't. Like I said, not the happiest show. How about who is there anybody in this room who remembers the Bad Livers? Okay, good. I don't have to play the song then. Let's move right along. Let's do an upbeat tune from my friend, my dear old friend. No, I'm forgetting his name all of a sudden. This is what's happened. My head is so discombobulated right now, as I'm sure many of ours are right now. But this is a song from my record, Triumph of Assimilation. By the way, does anybody remember these things, these CD things? Right? Yeah, here's the thing about CDs. If you don't have a player for these things, I found that if you have fruit trees, you can hang these from your fruit trees, and this'll scare away the birds. It works real well. And I have them set up there for sale. Just take one, and if you've got some money, put it in the jar. You know, I'd like you to have one. I also have my mildly problematic keychains, which once again here you can here. Would you like one? Yeah, here you go. Sorry, there you go. So just I brought them. You can have them. Just leave me some money or something. I'm really bad at capitalism. Oh, geez, I hope I'm not losing my voice here. So, this is a song when I started performing this song, people go, "Did you that was a weird song you just wrote, Mark?" And I said, "No, I didn't write it. My friend Cy Khan wrote it." And this is from the record Triumph of Assimilation, and it's a little tongue in cheek. Well, it's flooding up in Nashville, it's boiling in Maine. We got tornadoes in New Orleans, tsunamis in Spain. Why is this happening? What's your best guess? What's the reason we're in such a mess? Well, it's the Jews. It's always the Jews. We cause global warming and we give you the blues. Wherever we go, we're always bad news. Whatever goes wrong, it's always the Jews. A chore to tell who's a Jew, 'cause some of us use names Presbyterians use. Might be hard to sell one when you see one, 'cause someone you like may turn out to be one. We're the Jews. It's always the Jews. We cause global warming and we give you the blues. Wherever we go, we're always bad news. Whatever goes wrong, solo and I have a guitar. Well, those good Christian bankers, well, they kneel and give thanks when they ain't laughing all the way to their banks. 10 million foreclosures, each had a name. Banks made their billions, but who took the blame? Well, it's the Jews. Always the Jews. You know, we cause global warming and we give you the blues. Wherever we go, we're always bad news. Whatever goes wrong, always the Jews. Well, with people of color, you can tell right away. So you can be careful what you do and you say. Well, Jews are sneaky, used to know what to do. Cause the problem with us is we're so much like you. We're the Jews, yeah. Always the Jews, you know, we cause global warming and we give you the blues. Wherever we go, we're always bad news. Whatever goes wrong, you know, wherever we go, we're always bad news. Whatever goes wrong, wherever we go, we're always bad news. Whatever goes wrong. Whose fault? Oh, thank you. You're very, very, very kind. So, let's see now. Let's do some thematic requests. We've got songs of crushing addiction, mood disorder, or contending with anti-Semitism. Which that's what we have on deck. Mood disorder. Yeah, okay. I knew it. It's all about, it's like I tell people at my gigs, it's all about timing the meds. All about timing. This is actually a songwriter exercise. You know, Texas songwriters like to do waltzes. They're like really big on waltzes. And so I said, all those great songwriters have a waltz. So I figured can I write a waltz? Each morning I wake and it starts. Tells me I'm ugly and I'm not that smart. In the shower, tells me who deserves my worst. These voices inside my mind tell me who I should malign, how to hurt them, and where to hide their corpse. It's my constant companion, this dark narrative of great highs and lows uncontrolled. Unable to manage this chemical imbalance, I'd be a slow-moving train wreck, I'm told. There's a long trail of upset folks. When my name's said, it merely evokes foul memories, the results of my poor decision. Unhinged and on the loose, replicating my own abuse. It's a wonder that I've yet to land in prison. It's my constant companion, this dark narrative of great highs and lows uncontrolled. Unable to manage this chemical imbalance, I'd be a slow-moving train wreck, I'm told. Grown weary of the voices that orchestrate all my choices, my dear friends say this crap's got to end. But they've been there all the time, these dear friends of mine, through each rant and tortured distraction. It's my constant companion, these new revelations, to reckon with all that I've done. But without medication, just shy of sedation, be a slow-moving train wreck, I'm told. But without medication, just shy of sedation, I'd be a slow-moving train wreck, I'm told. Now, friends and neighbors, I'm going to have to take a little 5-minute break. So we are about midway through. I'm going to have to take a little 5-minute break to see what's going on with my voice. So just give me just 5 minutes, if that's okay. If that's just okay. Sorry, guys, 5 minutes.